So, though the topic was digital related, but I thought that this is an opportunity where the global community can get a good picture of what a growth story is all about. So, I'll talk about India's growth story. I'll discuss the thought process behind it so that you get a chance to understand how the nation's economy is being managed, what the thinking is, and why the thinking is giving the results the way they have given the results. Friends, we are comfortably placed in the 6 to 8% growth band. If you look at quarter to quarter, there will obviously be some variations, but the GDP is more or less growing in the range of 6 to 8%. The thought process behind that is basically based on 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are, first is public investment in infrastructure, social, digital, and physical infrastructure. That's the first pillar. It's a very important pillar. The second pillar is lots and lots of focus on making sure that the growth is inclusive. So inclusive development is very much an integral part of our entire thought process. The third big pillar is manufacturing. This is what generates a huge amount of jobs, and this is the need of the hour for the entire world when the countries are looking for resilience in their supply chains and in their value chains. The fourth big pillar is simplification of all the laws. And this entire edifice is being built on technology, using technology, whether it's digital, whether it is the conventional, whichever ways. I'll talk about the 4 pillars. The first pillar is investment in infrastructure. If you look at the capex that our budget is today providing, it used to be on an average about 2.5, 3 trillion rupees. This has now gone to 11 trillion rupees. And you look at the progress, 4, 5.5, 7.5, 10, and now 11.1. In terms of billion US, it is about 134 billion US now. So that much public investment is helping us really build the basic foundation of our economy, and also it is attracting the capital, which comes because multiplier impact of this investment is about 3.5. So that gives a huge opportunity for other people to come and be a part of this journey. First, I'll talk about the physical infrastructure. We look at, since I have the responsibility of railways, so I'll talk a bit more about, give more examples out of railways, but the context overall remains the same, how it is improving the productivity of the economy, how it is improving the way goods and people move, how are the manufacturers, they get better facilities. That's the basic context. The pace is what is important, the scale is what is important, and the scope of changes which are happening here, that's very important to understand. If you look at the period from 4 to 14, the number of railway tracks, the kilometers of railway tracks, was about 15,000 kilometers. The number in the last 10 years is 31,000 kilometers. And to put it in context, that is more than the entire network of a rich country like France. That's the importance of this number. This is more than the entire network of France added in last 10 years. Right now we are adding 14.5 kilometers a day, and in the last year we added 5,300 kilometers. In 1 year, we added more than the entire network of Switzerland or Austria or Belgium. That's the pace at which work is happening. Gone are those days when we used to simply say that the population of that much is added to our country. Now, the infrastructure of many of these nations is getting added to our country's infrastructure. Same is the case of railway electrification. If you look at the 60 years from 1947 to 2014, the kilometers electrified was only 21,000 kilometers. 60 years. And the last 10 years is 41,000. Imagine 60 years versus 10 years and 2x work. That is the pace at which work is happening. Any project you take, I'm just giving some samples. The bullet train project, just in 3 years flat, 327 kilometers of the Piers viaduct has been done. Many engineering marvels are being built. This is the undersea tunnel which will be built below the Thane Creek. This is the Thane Creek. This will be almost 21 kilometer, and this will be about 25 to 65 meters below the surface of the sea. So this is going to be the first undersea tunnel in our country. The first underwater metro was built. This is under the river Hooghly in Kolkata. Any Kolkatans here? What do you think about it? Feel proud? Bhalo achi? Bhalo achi. Good. So this is the first undersea, and then India's biggest transport tunnel. This is in Jammu and Kashmir. Anybody from Jammu and Kashmir here? कैसा लगता है? सुंदर. कैसे बोलेंगे अपनी भाषा में? अपनी भाषा में बोलो यार, कश्मीरी में बोलो.
ये बड़ा असल, बड़ा खुश का साइंस हुई.
क्या बात है? इनके लिए जोर से ताली बजाओ यार. कश्मीरी में बोले. Thank you. One of the things which is very important in railways is the complexity of tunnels is very, very high compared to, let's say, highway or any other sector. Look at the pace at which work is happening. Railways is like 150 plus years old, right? In its entire history, the number of tunnels was 125 kilometer. Entire history of railways. Since its inception, way back. In the last 10 years alone, 370 kilometers of railway tunnels done. That's like having a tunnel all the way from Bangalore to Chennai. That is the pace and scale and scope of the work being done, right? And this is a beautiful Chenab bridge. Amiyast, right? That one. This is our Chenab bridge, now ready. Just tunnel 1 ka thoda sa kaam baki hai. Then rest of the work is practically done. What I want to show here is this bridge done by our own engineers, 35 meters higher than the Eiffel Tower. Right? So it's really complex, really very, very big. It's just like I met Manu Bhakar. She made us proud for the work that she has done, the medal that she has won. She has made the country proud. And this is where our engineers are making the country proud. Give a big round of applause for all the engineers. Thank you. I hope the engineers out there working in Kashmir Valley, they listen to your clap. That if they haven't, I'll make sure that they listen. Great. I'll come to the Vande Bharat trains. Again, the concept here is that we should be able to develop good engineered, nicely engineered products because our engineers are designing for the world. If they are designing for the world, why can't they design for our own country? That was the challenge thrown by our Prime Minister. And the train which has been designed, if you look at many parameters, this train is better than the best in the world. So, the acceleration 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, right? The best in the world is 54 seconds. I won't take names, diplomatic issues, right? So, this one does 0 to 100 in 52 seconds. If you compare the noise level inside this train, compare it with a Boeing or an Airbus, it is 100 times less noise level compared to an aircraft. That's the level of engineering which has gone in it. You must have seen some videos where when we are testing this train at 180 kilometers per hour and we kept a glass of water, the water doesn't spill. Glass नहीं हिलता है, लेकिन दुनिया हिल जाती है, right? Beautiful train. Now the Vande sleeper has been designed, constructed, and very soon it will start the trials. Very soon, as in within next 7 days, the trials will start. Today already Honorable Prime Minister announced it in his speech. again, lots and lots of efforts on making sure that we get the trains for all the classes of the society. Because there is a technical challenge when you go beyond 100 kmph speeds, then you can't have non-air conditioned trains. Because the wind, the air envelope which gets created around a train, it will cause lots of air to come inside if the windows are open and the door is open, and the train can become unstable. So that's why for 100 kmph non-air conditioned trains, we have designed a special train called Bharat train. Again, absolutely world-class features, very safe, and made sure that a person who wishes to travel at 450 rupees for 1,500 kilometers. 450 rupees would be how many dollars? What about $4? $5? $5 for a 1,500 kilometer long journey. $5 for a 1,500 kilometer long journey. That is the kind of, that's the thought process that we have, where we have to make sure that every section of the society is getting the best. So this focus continues in the third term. The focus on making sure that the infrastructure, what we want to give to the next generation of our country, we should be able to do that hard work today and make sure that the next generation gets a better country. That's the thinking, and that's why since June 2024, since the elections results came in, already our Prime Minister has approved projects worth 2 trillion rupees. Already projects worth 2 trillion rupees have been approved, and yesterday the Vadhavan port foundation stone was also laid. So this is in practically every sector, whether it is railway, highway, port, airports, metros, every sector. We are also focusing on creating world-class manufacturing infrastructure. So 12 new industrial smart cities have been approved. I won't walk you through the entire details, but the slides will be available for you. This is Khurpia, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, again Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Andhra, Telangana, Kerala, practically every part of the country, and lots of thinking has gone behind this. Whatever we have learned from the past experiences of SEZ, whatever focus we tried to put on DMI, Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, all those lessons have been incorporated while these projects have been approved. Now I'll come to the digital part of the infrastructure. You're aware of our India stack, which is again a very interesting concept that has been created. The concept is like this. From the public investment, we create a platform. This is the platform. This is an example of the UPI. The same concept can be built over many other things. So we have this platform. Every stakeholder joins this platform, whether they are the banks, the e-wallets, the digital identity is fundamental part of it, merchants, startups, e-commerce, enterprises, and our fellow citizens, the users. So look at the whole concept. Our Prime Minister says, we must make sure that technology reaches every common citizen of the country. We must make sure that our thought process is for democratizing technology. We must make sure that the big tech doesn't have monopoly on technology. We must make sure that every person with a good idea gets an opportunity to test that idea and build something upon it. That's the thought process which has gone behind this kind of architecture. And this architecture is quite unique, very unique. The world is today talking about it. I go in G7, I go in G20, I go in many international forums, and everywhere people say that help us understand how this was possible. Now digital credit is coming in a very big way. Again, the same framework where on the one side the credit providers, on the other side the people who need the credit, and creating a structure in which the payment history becomes the digital capital, that becomes the collateral, that gets securitized, so that the person on the street, the person who's looking for 10,000 rupees loan, is the one for whom the biggest banks would be competing to get that customer. That's the thought process that we are working on. Not just the big industry guys, but the guy on the street is the one for whom all the big lenders will be competing. So that's the construct, that's the thought process behind this entire digital infrastructure. I'll come to the social infrastructure. I said there are three parts of infrastructure, right? Physical, digital, and social. So the three parts. Social infrastructure is as important as physical infrastructure and digital, because that's where the society gets so deeply impacted. Look at any parameter, whether it is medical colleges, AIIMS, MBBS seats, PG seats, universities, IITs, IIMs. Look at technical university institutes of university level, IITs. Everywhere in 10 years, the growth numbers are phenomenal. 82%, 214%, 126%. That's the change, like practically doubling the social infrastructure in 10 years. 10 years doubling is immense, friends. I mean, that the effort it requires is tremendous. And our Prime Minister, who works 18 hours a day, this is the result, right? I'll come to the second pillar of inclusive growth. I'm sure you have heard a lot about it, but I'll quickly flip through this. The scale of inclusivity, the span of the number of families that we have touched, the kind of lasting impact we have made in their lives, that is what is demonstrated here in very few slides. We all know about the world's biggest vaccination drive. Amazing efficiency, fully digital, and very, very good example of cooperative federalism. 4 crore, which is 40 million houses constructed, 40 million houses constructed for the poor and underprivileged. And now 3 crore, 30 million more houses already approved in the first 100 days of Prime Minister Modi ji's historic third term. That's the change we are bringing in the ordinary person's life. 12 crore toilets. I mean, nobody thought that a Prime Minister would speak from the Red Fort about toilets, about sanitary pads, about cleanliness, but this is a Prime Minister who has come from the grassroots and he understands what is needed at the grassroots level. He doesn't have to go and get a photo opportunity with somebody to understand the poor families strata, right? He understands it because he has lived that. And that's why this focus on inclusivity. Access to water for 14 crore households. This would be about 140 million, right? That's like every household in US getting a tap water connection. That's the kind of effort that has gone in. 100 million families getting their gas connection, changing their habits of cooking using wood stoves to a gas stove, right? 100 million families. Free ration month after month to 80 crore, 800 million people. 800 million people. Flawless distribution. Imagine in our complexity. Free medical treatment, practically every aspect of the life of a citizen who has been left out of the economic journey for many, many decades is now being touched. That's inclusivity. I don't think there is any other program in the world which is as big in the scale of inclusivity as what Prime Minister Modi ji's first and second term has done. The third pillar of our growth story is focus on manufacturing. We know manufacturing provides jobs, and it's a very important segment which has remained neglected for many decades. Many examples are there. One of the examples, part of my responsibility, is mobile phone manufacturing. We all know from practically minuscule to a large number today, almost 50 billion plus, and almost 99.1% of all the mobile phones that we use in India are today made in India. And this year, Apple will be manufacturing their latest model in India, right? So that's the drive up the learning curve. That's the way things have evolved. Electronics manufacturing, again, gone up to 105. The number is wrongly written here. It's 105 billion US. And now we are going for the component ecosystem. We are preparing a program where the component ecosystem can also now come in the way electronics and mobile manufacturing has come in. Same electronics exports once again have become the top 5 items in the entire export basket of India. So the employment in manufacturing, semiconductors again, something that we wanted to do since 1962 to be precise, when Prime Minister Nehruji was the Prime Minister that time. Since that time we have been trying to do. Finally we succeeded in Prime Minister Modi ji's term after 60 years. And today we have 4 units which are under construction at this point of time. And again we are looking at complete ecosystem. We are just not looking at the fab, but we're looking at design, fab, ATMP, creating the talent pool and making sure that the entire supply ecosystem comes to India. I'm sure you have seen practically every part of the ecosystem we are bringing here. By now we have signed MOUs with 113 universities, where we are providing the EDA tools and we are making sure that the course curriculum is current, it is as per today's technologies and needs. Time is running out, I must be fast. Right? Construction is going at very fast pace. I'll come to the 4th pillar, which is simplification. Very huge focus on simplification, and many examples are there. I know that we need to do a lot more on this, and this is like something which we need to continue to have a laser sharp focus. But some of the examples are, in the case of telecom tower, the average time it used to take was 236 days for getting the permission. The average time that is required today is 7 days. Imagine the journey from where we were and where we are now, right? That's the kind of pace at which work has happened. Close to 1,500 laws have been removed from the statute book. Many new comprehensive laws have been brought. But a lot more to be done on this front, right? I would like to end with a thought in the audience, especially the global audience. We are a very young nation today. Our median age is 37 years. We have a large workforce which basically is very young, very amenable to new talent, amenable to skilling, learning. By the time we reach 100 years of our independence, 2047, we will continue to remain a very young age, young population, with a median age of 37 years. What I want to tell you is that the next 25 years and the years beyond that, those are the decades of India. Those are the years when the best of our country has to come. The foundation that Prime Minister Modi ji has laid in the last 10 years and the hard work that we will be putting in these 5 years, our Prime Minister has given us a challenge. This is the 3rd term. हमें 3 गुना ज़्यादा मेहनत करनी है. We must work 3 times, we must put 3 times more effort than what we have put in the last 10 years. And I request all of you to be a part of this journey. I request each one of you, each one of your organizations to join our Prime Minister's call for putting in 3 times more effort. Ready for that? Are you ready for that? Please stand up and give a strong answer to this if you are ready for the 3 times extra hard work. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Thank you very much. When you are ready for that, the country will continue to grow in the 6 to 8% band, more on the upper side of it, right? More on the upper side of it. And I can say that with 95% confidence interval. My professor in business statistics said, never give a number without a confidence interval. Great. Thank you very much. Thank you.